Hey, what's going on? This is Jake Haugen here at Hero Bullion. I want to welcome you today to our live stream. Live streaming is something that we really enjoy here at Hero, and we want to bring you timely news, updates, and just educational content and engage with you here, answer any questions you have. So we're here for today. First and foremost, we want to start talking about the craziness that is the market right now. If you go to herobullion.com, across the top, you're going to see a ticker of the gold, silver, platinum, palladium, and we're going to get to it in a minute in the gold-silver ratio. We're one of the only sites that publish the gold-silver ratio right along with everything else because it's very important to you, and I'm going to tell you why here in just a minute. Besides that, let's talk about what happened this weekend and where we are now, right? As far as the metals go, the big news out of the weekend is simply the helicopter crash with the Iranian president. Okay, that signals a disruption in political power and a lot of unknown. And whenever there's unknown, we see people run to a safe haven asset like gold, like silver. Particularly the big money tends to move to gold. And so you saw that at the Sunday open, an incredible jump up in gold and silver prices, and it's sustained for a couple of days, basically until today. We're gonna get today in just a second. Other things that's going on, just generally political unrest, and then there's the talk of interest rate reduction. Now, I've been on a number of interviews on YouTube recently where one of the main questions is what's going to happen with rates. Obviously, I don't know that. Jerome knows that. Maybe. I feel like he's kind of making it up as he goes, right? There has been talk of lowering the interest rates, and I want to talk about what that means for gold and silver. But the key thing about lowering interest rates, and I've been right on this one, is that they're going to keep delaying when they're lowering interest rates. That is simply due to the fact that if they lower interest rates, we're going to experience more inflation, which is good for gold. It's good for silver. It's good for generally all commodities, right? And so what I'm thinking is that they're going to delay as much as possible, possibly to the end of summer here, to lower interest rates because the most recent CPI data came out just recently and said they're starting to get inflation in check. When they feel like they have inflation under control, then you're going to see that lowering of interest rates, right? Honestly, I don't think the economy is ready for that. But gold and silver stackers, I feel like you guys are ready for it. So let's move on to today. We're seeing a big drop in metals today. Last I checked, silver was down right around 70, 75 cents. Gold was down $25, $30. We'll see what happens. Generally, in the past, historically, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, we would see the big moves happen in precious metals in the early part of the day, right? And they would make their move before 8 or 9 a.m. and then they would just kind of stay there for the rest of the day. That's not the case anymore. We saw on the big run up on Monday, we saw a big run up. I'm thinking about silver right now, a big run up of $1. So silver was up $1 on the day, and then slowly just kind of stood there. And I felt like, okay, this is where silver is going to settle. And then boom, it popped another $1 or virtually another $1. So we got to watch out for that. We got to understand that these are unique times, right? What happened in the past, what worked in the past, what we could expect in the past, you can't expect right now, right? So my question to you is, please comment here. My question to you is, what are you doing right now? I'm assuming if you're watching this show, you're a precious metal stacker. Are you buying now? Are you selling now? Are you holding now? Are you waiting? I desperately want to know what's going on in your mind. I pay attention to the different forums online, and that's a question that keeps coming up where stackers are asking their peers, what is going on? Are you buying? What do you guys think is happening? And there's a lot of schools of thought, but I want to know what you guys think about it. And while we're getting into that, I want to talk about the gold to silver ratio. Okay. It's one of my favorite metrics to watch. One of the reasons I think it's so important is because it helps me decide, hey, number one, I'm already sold on precious metals. I know I'm going to be buying some precious metals, but it helps me decide, should I buy gold? Should I buy silver? Right? Historically, we actually just published an article in our Bullion Academy. So if you go to Hero Bullion and under the other tab, you click the other tab and you look down and you'll see Bullion Academy. Click on that right there. We do an examination of the gold to silver ratio and why it's important. One of the reasons it's important is to understand the historical context. As far back as we can look, I have some notes here. We had a ratio in ancient Egypt. The gold to silver ratio, as we understand it, based on the information we have, was 2.5 ounces of silver to 1 ounce of gold. Obviously, that's not what we see now. And then even in the right around World War II, it kind of stabilized at between 12 and 16 ounces of silver to 1 ounce of gold. And now if you look on HeroBullion.com, you look at the ticker on the top right, it's right around 76 ounces of silver for an ounce of gold, okay? And so what I do is I look at that. Now, I just said what happened in the past, what worked in the past is not necessarily what's happening right now. So you have to be careful. But if I'm looking at it as a stacker, right now, I very much like silver. I feel like if both metals are going to double, let's say, which has a better chance of doubling? Do we have a better chance of seeing $5,000 gold, or do we have a better chance of seeing $60 silver? I say $60 silver comes before $5,000 gold. Maybe not, because the big money moves gold, right? So I got a fun little demo for you here about the gold to silver ratio. You're good there. So here we have a 50-gram gold bar produced by Valcambi, right here. I don't know how this camera does. Is it good? We're good on the camera, okay. 50-gram gold bar Valcambi, which is 1.6 ounces of gold. You do your magic, and you multiply 1.6 times 76, and we end up with 4 kilos. I hope I don't drop these because they're kind of slippery because they're in bags. 4 kilos of silver, okay? So when we talk gold to silver ratio, you got this much silver to this much gold, okay? I'm a silver buyer right now. I love it, but hey, there's great values in gold as well out on the market. So if you're trying to take advantage of a physical market, some of the best products out there are some of these gold bars in assay cards. They're tremendously low premium. And if you get them made by a good maker, maybe a PAMP, a Valcambi, whatnot, you're gonna feel comfortable that you have a good bar in your hands, right? Do we have any answers why people are buying? Not so much buying, holding off. We're seeing that a lot. Yeah, 175. There are some mental hurdles. Now, right now in the gold price, I would say a hurdle that we have, the next hurdle is that 2,500 number. Not only is it just an even 100 number, but it's halfway to, halfway between 2,000 and 3,000. So I think that's a big thing for people. So appreciate that response there. Okay, let's see. We are going to get into 10-ounce silver bars. 10-ounce silver bars are one of the core products that we sell. It's one of the products, if you find especially a low premium 10-ounce bar, you're gonna benefit from ease of liquidity, easy to store, relatively, they're small, you can handle them. They're a small enough price point that you can essentially liquidate a 10-ounce bar. In other words, resell it to somebody else and not have to sell a huge chunk. For instance, if you're selling a 100-ounce bar, you're going to be, you may only need to raise $1,000, but you're forced to sell at this point over $3,000, $3,200 at this point to get out of that 100-ounce bar. 10-ounce bar is a different story. We're over $300 in value there because it's 10 ounces of silver. Easy to do the math. It's a nice round number 10. If spot's $30, your melt value there is 300. 5-ounce bar on the fly, a little bit harder to calculate, right? Kilos, even harder to calculate. So we're going to talk about 10-ounce bars. The thing I want you to understand about 10-ounce bars, and I see this question all the time about 10-ounce bars, is people confuse a couple of different things. So we have some examples to show you here. They confuse what the difference between an extruded or minted bar is, right? What is a cast bar and what is a poured bar? People a lot of times will put cast and poured together. They are not the same thing. And I'm going to explain to you how to identify that right now. We good on the camera? Put it down. You want to? Okay. Okay. So I have here, love my handy cart here. I have here a variety of different bars. Okay. And please don't yell at me. I may go gloveless here on these, but we have a variety of 10-ounce bars. Here is a vintage Engelhard bar. I can't quite see if I'm in the right spot, but I'm good there. Okay. This bar has nice sharp corners, and it's got a nice sharp back here. Okay. So you're looking for this sharpness in an extruded bar. Let's get some more modern bars out here. Man, these guys package these so very well. You have the Britannia 10-ounce bar. Again, sharp edges, sharp corners, sharp details, okay? That's your signal that this is an extruded bar. This bar is spit out of an extrusion die and essentially cut to length. They punch it to size, and then they mint it, just like they do a coin or something, a coin or a bullion round. They mint these in very, very much the same way. So some of the common brands that you're going to find in these extruded bars. Hey, Johnson Matthey. This is the new Johnson Matthey bar. And I think we had a vintage one here versus a vintage Johnson Matthey bar. Both are extruded bars, minted bars, right? A little bit different design here. This one's got a serial number. This one does not, right? You have my favorite. This is one of my favorites. Man, as far as government minted, RCM takes the cake. One of the cool touches that they do is they actually provide a reeded edge. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but this is reeded here on the edge. And so you'll see that bar. The other nice touch, you got a serial number right here. And of course, the trust that comes with this logo. This team works really hard to put out a good product, and they knock it out of the park every time. Great looking bar, one of my favorites. A little bit higher premium because it is produced by a government mint. Here's the Cut Saw 10-ounce Unity bar. This is a huge seller for us. You'll see right here the Cut Saw logo. Does it focus when I get this close? No? Okay. We're working on some different camera setup stuff because we recognize that we're showing you coins a lot here. But you see the Cut Saw logo here. Cut Saw is an ISO approved facility, and so their products are eligible to go in your IRA. That's very important. Let's see. We have a vintage Engelhard. Again, this is an extruded or minted bar. New bar out of Sunshine Mercury bars. These have been pretty popular. Again, SMI and their Eagle logo there. So these are all minted bars. I think you have a good handle on what a minted bar is. Now let's get to the one that confuses people, I would say, the most. Here we have a vintage Engelhard loaf bar, okay? You'll see that this is nice and sharp here, but this is actually a cast bar, okay? And so I'm going to demo kind of how casting works here, okay? So a cast bar, you can think of it as a baked bar. We call them a loaf bar sometimes. You have Nadir, very popular brand out of Turkey. Again, nice smooth edges, nice smooth surface here for you, okay? You're going to recognize very quickly that those are cast bars. One of my new favorites, Red River Mint. These guys are local. We love these guys. They make a cast bar as well, okay? The thing you're going to see with the cast bars is the very smooth surface there, nice smooth edges, nice clean back, right? Now, I'm going to contrast that. Oh, let's get this guy out. Excuse me. This is the Royal Canadian Mint Kilo, not a 10-ounce bar, because I wanted to show what RCM does versus an extruded 10-ounce bar. So this is a cast bar here, okay? Think about it this way. This is a mold, a graphite mold that we put silver in, right? Okay, and then we have silver grain. This is the grain. This grain should be from Metalor, which is a very well-known maker. This grain is poured into this mold. See if I can do this without spilling a bunch. And of course, you're going to weigh it. I'm not going to weigh it right here. Imagine that's 10 ounces there in the mold. And essentially, you put this in the oven. You put it in a furnace. You draw out the oxygen, because what does oxygen do to silver? It oxidizes or tarnishes the silver. You don't want that on a brand new minted bar. So let's say you got 10 ounces in here. You generally will put a graphite cover on it, so no silver pops out as it's melting, so you don't have any melt loss there. And then what comes out is a bar like this. A cast bar, nice even surface. Another thing that's involved in that process is getting oxygen, like I said, getting oxygen out. And most times that's done through pushing nitrogen into the melting chamber, okay? So that is a cast bar. Now, There's a big difference between a cast bar and a poured bar. So while these bars both contain 10 ounces of silver, let's do them this way. While these bars both contain 10 ounces of silver, this bar is cast, this bar is poured. And so one of the biggest keys, man, I wish we had a good setup for this, but if you look closely, you can see there are lines along the edge. And what that is those are lines caused by the silver actually cooling as it's poured into this mold. Now you would use this same mold, but what we do, and we make these bars in-house. There's been a lot of discussion about that, where we get our silver bars. We actually make them in-house. This is a graphite crucible, okay? So instead of putting your silver shot or grain into the mold directly, you pour it into your crucible, okay? And your crucible, you then put it into an oven, okay? This liquefies, and then imagine this guy's empty. You pour the liquid silver into the mold, and it cools in open air. Honestly, it's quite a bit more difficult than doing a cast bar because it is an open pour. It's exposed to the air, okay? So we bake these bars all in-house. These are hand-poured bars. Another signal of a hand-poured bar is you will see ripples here, cooling lines, pour lines, whatever you want to call them. There's a bunch of different names for them, but you can kind of see the lines here. You'll see the lines on the edge. We shrink wrap these, and it's going to have a little bit more of a rough back. Okay, and that's because there's oxygen. You're pouring silver in an open mold, and some of that oxygen has to escape, and so it makes its way out and causes these little variability in the back of the bar, as well as the sides and the front, obviously. So my question for y'all is, let's get it back up. What is your preference of silver bars? Do you like the extruded bars? Do you like the cast bars? Do you like poured bars? And why? Why do you like these bars? I got love for all silver bars, so I can't pick one. It's almost like saying, which of my children do I love the most? I can't choose it. Maybe you're the same way as me. But there you go. That's the take on 10-ounce silver bars. Now, one more thing before we go here today. I got a couple of announcements to make that are pretty important for us. Just this past Monday, we had our first ever Whatnot auction. Whatnot is an auction platform. It's an app you can download on your phone. I would encourage you at this point, download the Whatnot app if you're looking for some kind of different stuff. We get a tremendous amount of stuff back through our buyback program, through dealers who are looking to liquidate and offload some inventory. We take on a bunch of that stuff. And so one of the solutions we came up with to offer that to the market versus building these products one by one for the website, which is actually very labor intensive. We are selling this stuff through Whatnot. It's a really fun platform. I'm probably going to be hosting a show. I'm not going to be our main host. We have another guy here. If you've called into us, you probably talked to John. He's one of the main guys that takes the phone calls. John's been hosting a show on Mondays. So this coming Monday, Memorial Day holiday, we are closed here. I'm making John work. I need this guy selling some coins. So John's going to be on Whatnot at 6 o'clock, I believe. Help me out. Is 6 o'clock right? I think it's 6 o'clock. We'll confirm that. But go to Whatnot, search up Hero Bullion, and you'll see you can save that and choose to be notified. Just a fun platform. We actually do giveaways to do some really cool stuff there. Another announcement: if you are not on our newsletter and you're new to precious metals, you're not sure what you want to buy, you're not sure where to start, we have a great place for you. If you go to top5silver.com, and that's TOP, the number 5, silver.com, you can sign up to get a free download of our top 5 silver coins, my top 5 picks for this year. These picks are aimed to keep you mistake free. Okay, there are so many mistakes, and it's kind of a minefield out there when you're starting stacking and you don't know what to start with. So the aim of these products, if you're a seasoned stacker, you may look at this and be like, these are kind of boring products, the products everyone else says. I've gotten that comment before. I don't care. That's the point of it. These are safe products that you're going to buy. You're not going to have a hard time selling. You're not going to be worried about counterfeits, especially if you buy from a good place. And then the other thing is when it comes to storage, when it comes to passing it down to your heirs, anything like that, they're the most recognizable products with the best security and the highest liquidity on the market. Okay. So a big part of what we're trying to do here at Hero Bullion is educate you, empower you to make the right decisions for your family, for yourself. And so we welcome all the questions. This top5silver.com download is one, it's an effort by our whole team here to get you information that's easy to digest. And you know, you're gonna see a lot of people on the market that are gonna tell you every product's right for you, or they have the perfect product for you. That is false. Okay. In this top 5, we explain to you the pros as well as the cons of each of these products, and that's really valuable. It's us taking all the expertise that we have. You know, last time I did the count in house, we have well over 100 years of industry expert in this house, in this office here, expertise in the industry, and we're trying to convey that information to you. Okay, so go to top5silver.com, get that download right now, get on our list. We're not going to blow up your inbox and make you want to burn your email address. We're here to bring you good information and offer you good deals on bullion products. And I want to leave you, this is where I get to be kind of corny. I want to leave you with a quote. And well, years and years ago, many moons ago, I was a Boy Scout. And the Boy Scout motto is be prepared. I was an Eagle Scout, actually. So I lived that. But it's kind of corny to say that. So if you search the Latin version of it, you come up with in omnia paratus, which means ready for anything. And that's what we're here to help with. We're helping you to be ready for this. There's a million other things you can spend your time on, and I hope you spend your time on the right things, but we're here to help you be ready for this thing. I hope you guys have a great week, and we're here. Let us know in the comments if you have any questions. I'll be engaging for the next little bit here. Thank you, guys.